Hello and welcome back to the World of Warcraft Legion beta server. We will be playing the Frost Death Knight today, as you could probably tell from the gear and the two one-handers that we have. If you did just watch my Unholy Death Knight video, I do apologize. Apparently the beta server is kind of reset and all of my settings had gone back up to pretty much ultra, and I was wondering why my computer was lagging. And my video seemed a little bit stuttery, but you get the idea. Before we do get started with the Frost Death Knight, I want to point out a couple of things. I am on a template character, so 680 item level. You probably will have a much higher item level when you're doing this. And we're going to take a look at some of our passives so you understand where some of the damage might be coming from. We have Dark Succor. I said it the same, damn it. Anyway, this is a passive. When you kill an enemy that yields experience or honor, your next death strike within 20 seconds is free, and its healing is increased by 100%. We have Killing Machine. Your auto-attack critical strikes have a chance to make your next Obliterate automatically critically strike. We have Mastery Frozen Heart. Increases all frost damage done by 21%. Of course, that's going to be a different percentage depending on what gear you're in. On a Pale Horse, you are as hard as death. Wow, you are as hard to stop as death itself, increasing your mounted speed by 20%. We have Rhyme. Your Obliterate has a 45% chance to cause your next Howling Blast to consume no runes and deal 300% additional damage. And we have Runic Empowerment. When you spend Runic Power, you have a 1% chance per Runic Power spent to gain a rune. We also did skip all of the kind of the pre-patch stuff that's on the beta to get us right here into Dalaran at the Echo Isles.
King's honor, friend.
It is good to see you on your feet. The members of the Council of Six are recuperating from their ordeal. The intensity of the teleportation spell can be disorienting. It seems you lost consciousness for a time, but at least you didn't awaken to find yourself stuck in a wall. Dalaran has been relocated to the Broken Isles. From here, we will spearhead the effort to acquire the Pillars of Creation and drive the Legion from Azeroth once and for all. As you can see, you get the Dalaran Hearthstone, which is basically your new Garrison Hearthstone, and 5 Tomes of the Tranquil Mind, which are used to respec your talents, whether it be in the open world, in a dungeon, or in a raid, and as long as you're not in combat. As you can see, I don't have any quests available to me. If you run around, you'll get a little prompt on where to go and what to do, and I'll kind of leave this up to your imagination so that you can be surprised when it shows up. I don't know how to play Frost. I haven't played Frost kind of since Wrath of the Lich King, so I'm kind of, if I'm not using exactly the way you would, please don't cringe too hard. I'm kind of learning as I go here. I haven't played this spec in a very, very long time.
Destiny calls to you.
A chilling thought brushes your mind. Hear me. The Legion has returned. They hope to control us, to bend us to their will. Fools. They only walk back within reach of our blades. Your brethren within Dalaran have begun to gather at Krasus' Landing. Go, meet with Duke Lancraw, and all will be explained. So, we're going to head up to Krasus' Landing. If you're looking for something in particular in my video as well, check the description for annotations, the times you can jump to, if you want to see something in particular. If you're not interested in any spoilery stuff, you're just looking to see the talents, go check that out.
What?
I'm sure you have many questions, but they're just going to have to wait. We're at war now. We have to move quickly, but I'll try to explain what I can. We have an unexpected ally in this war, and we're going to need every advantage we can get to defeat the Burning Legion. The Ebon Blade will serve as the Lich King's arm as long as the Scourge is combined to Northrend. In return for our assistance, our ally has offered to assist in obtaining powerful weapons for the strongest of our knights. Weapons powerful enough to end the Legion once and for all. You are one of our best. I want you to decide which weapon you would like to seek out. So this is the UI where you'll pick your first artifact weapon for the expansion. Of course, we're going to go for Frost, so we're going to get the Blades of the Fallen Prince, Frost Reaper, and Icebringer, both 2.6 speed, one-handed swords with an item level of 750. And you can see there's 2 others, the Unholy, which I should have my video up for that, and Blood, which probably be a little bit after this one comes out, and Maw of the Damned. And you can get these 2 also at some point during the expansion. The first you can get at 102, the second I'm not sure what level. I've only leveled my Demon Hunter up to 110, so they only have 2 specs, so I don't know what your third level might be at, or your third item what level you have to be to grab that, whether it's any different from 102 or not. But you can, have all three at some point, level them up. And there are, like, catch-up mechanics. So if you're playing Frost at the beginning and you're like, oh man, this sucks. Unholy's so much better at blah, blah, blah. Or your guild needs a new tank and you're pretty good at tanking, you can kind of level these up. And it won't take too long for you to get the artifact power to kind of catch up to where you were in the first place. So, let's go ahead and we'll pick the Blades of the Fallen Prince, the legendary Frostmourne. Even 4 years after its destruction within Icecrown Citadel, remains one of the most infamous weapons in all of Azeroth. With a bit of necromantic power, the broken shards could be reforged into a set of rune blades that have the potential to be as powerful as their predecessor, if not surpass it entirely.
Speak your peace.
Excellent choice.
We will have our revenge.
A powerful presence again touches your thoughts. I have ordered your brethren to Icecrown to prepare for the coming conflict, but I have a more important fate in mind for you. You will be the hand of my vengeance. Use the Deathgate to return to Acheris, and I shall reveal your role in this. So, make sure you're accepting that, and then you're going to click on this Deathgate. So, as you can see in that little cinematic, Acheris has returned to Icecrown Citadel.
So the Lich King chose you to be his hand. I'm not surprised. We have all heard of your exploits. Our forces have gathered from all across Northrend. When the call to action comes, and it will come soon, the Knights of the Ebon Blade will be ready. Make no mistake, we are not bound to this new Lich King. However, he may prove a valuable ally against the Legion. For now, our goals align with his. And in the meantime, it is in our best interest that the Scourge stay contained. The gates of Icecrown lie to the north. Do not keep our ally waiting.
So you can see we're kind of aligning ourselves with the Lich King, as silly as that may sound.
Hurry up, Minerva! We're about to pull out of here. Mogreen will kill us if we hold things up.
We're already dead, idiot.
There is much to be done.
So you just step on that little transporter there, and we're going to enter Icecrown Citadel at the behest of our new Lich King, Bolvar.
Many of the souls, freed by Frostmourne's destruction, wander the halls of Icecrown, lashing out in eternal torment. Destroy them, and gather the fragments of the blade, for they will be the heart of your new weapon.
Oops. Forgot about that. Could probably be interrupting these, but I'm lazy, as you can tell.
I need to target something first.
Oops, forgot I had myself muted. As you can see, seemingly taking quite a bit of damage. We're going to pull this guy through here and do this. Again, I'm not, you know, I don't have the perfect rotation down by any means. But seem to take a good bit of damage. But again, having, you know, Death Strike kind of baseline where it helps us a little bit after every kill we get can be useful. Okay, here we go. Let's find out how this goes. Okay, so I see it now. We have to put these guys on these platforms. There we go. Okay. You can either kill them on the platform, or you can death grip one on, stand on the other. Like I did.
Maelgen's soul was cursed to relive the moment of his death for eternity, and will see you as his enemy. Destroy him.
Okay, taking a lot of damage. That's my analysis so far. We don't seem to do nearly as much damage as I was doing as Unholy, and of course in Unholy we had pets, so that wasn't a big deal. So let's try this again. Well, I'll just keep walking into this crap because I forget to look at the screen. Sorry, I'm looking at multiple monitors at once. Hey, let's make it 3 for 3, baby. All right, can we make it 4 for 4? Nah, we'll skip that one. We'll get that one on the way back out. Okay, let's see if I can do this time. Oh, well, at least he doesn't gain health back. I mean, that could have posed a problem, right? Let's range him to death. What do you think? Okay. So, Fragment of Frostmourne. Let's pick that sucker up. And we got legendaries, or artifacts. Pretty cool. Let's see how this goes. So still taking a lot of damage. It doesn't seem like Frost is doing very well through this test. Again, I am in pretty crap gear. I think they're expecting you to have a 680 or higher, but seems like...
The soul of Halak was tortured within Frostmourne till he cursed the light. Now that he has forsaken it, slay him.
Seems like it could be doing a little bit better.
target.
That one wasn't so bad. Just kind of an interrupt there. The other one, I think I just stood in the whirlwind too long. So let's grab our second fragment of Frostmourne. And we got some ads to deal with here. Probably caster mobs. Hopefully they don't beat the shit out of us.
Consumed by Frostmourne, the soul of Magroth refused to give up the light. Show him the error of his ways.
And with him, we'll pick up our fourth fragment. Or, excuse me, our third fragment. Now let's eat before we move into these ads here, because I think these Spectral Knights deal quite a bit of damage. Here we go.
Once hailed by Arthas as a brother, Gavinrad too was ultimately fed to Frostmourne. Grant him a final death.
I need a target. I don't have a target.
Well, that almost went extremely poor. But it didn't. So, we'll run with that. Okay, so this is Gavinrad the Cruel. I believe... Was Gavinrad in Warcraft 3 at some point? He might have been. Well, let's go kick his ass real quick. Send him back to Warcraft 3.
Need a target.
Okay, and that's our fourth fragment of Frostmourne. Say that a bunch of times fast. And we'll walk on our transporter, and this is going to take us to someplace quite familiar.
Behold, the hilt of Frostmourne. From its broken form, you will create a blade without equal. Approach and channel your power into it to create your weapon.
This doesn't seem like the best idea in the long run, but we got a Legion to beat, right?
It is done. From the shards of Frostmourne, the twin blades are born. Soon, they shall feed upon the souls of my enemies. evil spirits remain within the blaze. Enter into the spiritual realm within, and purge them of all that resist your domination.
Okay, let's purge. Oh.
Take up the blade, Arthas Menethil. Embrace your destiny.
Yes. You are right. I will bear any curse to have my revenge. What? An intruder? You won't stop me. Frostmourne will be mine! Nothing will stand in the way of my vengeance.
How dare you interfere? His soul belongs to me.
Feel the icy chill of death around you.
Well, this is a little bit difficult.
It's too far away. I'm out of range. I need to get closer. I'm out of range. I need to get closer.
The darkness.
Let the darkness consume you. Feast upon the souls of the damned.
It's too far away. I need to get closer. I don't have a target.
Feel the icy chill of death around you. I
Out of
see
range.
only darkness.
Curse you, interloper! All my plans ruined.
Okay, so now we can claim the Blades of the Fallen Prince. Again, for you,
You have done well. Ascend to my throne and receive your charge.
for those of you who are into the lore, these are made from Frostmourne. So, where is our ability? What was it called? Crystalline Swords. Apparently we haven't gotten the ability yet? I didn't see it. But let's take a look at our weapons really quick, and we'll take a look at everything else a little bit later. So these are made from the shards of Frostmourne and the hilt of Frostmourne. These are Frost's one-handers. They're called Frost Reaper and Icebringer. So, pretty cool. Kind of plain. There will be other transmogs available throughout Legion for these weapons specifically that you're able to obtain through various means. And just in case you're wondering, you can transmog this to whatever the hell you want. So if you've got a bunch of one-handers lying around and you like them a hell of a lot better than anything you can get for this weapon, or just the base models of this weapon, you can go ahead and transmog that ASAP.
Where the weak showed mercy, you did not hesitate to strike. Where the unworthy were vanquished, you have conquered. I now mark you with my sigil. Let all recognize you as the enforcer of my will. As we speak, the Ebon Blade is en route to the Broken Isles to hunt for the Dread Lords. Go, ensure that not a single demon escapes my wrath. Crush all who stand in your way.
So we hopped back in Acarus after obtaining our weapons, and as you can see from the look behind us, we are now in the Broken Isles, or at the Broken Isles. There's the Tomb of Sargeras there behind us, and Dalaran has moved here as well to help lead the charge. You can see we have a portal to Dalaran here. I don't think I talked about that in the Unholy video, but there's a portal here that'll allow you to go to Dalaran whenever you want. And of course you can come back here with your Deathgate ability. But here we are, we're in the Echo Isles now. We finished our quest line for the Lich King. And let's throw these on real quick. For some reason, grants the Crystalline Swords ability. Well, I don't see that. So unless that's bugged, I'm going to be disappointed if it is. But it seems like I did not get the ability. So give me 1 second, I'm just going to relog and see. Okay, so it doesn't seem to have fixed it. I apologize. We may not be able to look at the ability that we're given for the Frost Death Knights, so that we'll see in a second if that's the case. But relogging did not help. I did not gain an ability, which is unfortunate. But here we are, to High Lord Darian Mograine. The Lich King has made a wise choice in giving you those blades. You've more than proven yourself worthy of them. I have to admit, though, I'm glad it wasn't me. I'm through with having magical weapons dictate my fate.
We will see it through. It is time you enter a position that befits your accomplishments. Knights of the Ebon Blade, assemble as we honor one of our own. Before us this day stands our comrade in arms. You have all heard the legends of countless battles fought, of trials overcome at great cost. His exemplary deeds in the name of the Ebon Blade have shown him to be one of the best of us, worthy of our highest honor. By the will of the Lich King, and upon my authority as High Lord, I declare that this champion, wielder of the blades of the fallen prince, will henceforth be known as Death Lord of the Ebon Blade. You will all bow to him as you once did to me, and carry out his will against the Legion!
Hey, okay, so we're the Death Lord now. And as you can see, you'll get a quest here from Ilana Dreadmore.
We press on.
Greetings, Death Lord. The blades you hold, while magnificent, have much untapped potential. As you harvest the souls of your enemies in their power will continue to grow. Grandmaster Corvus has studied new techniques that may be of use to you, my lord. You can find him working the forges on the upper level.
We will have our
So
revenge.
we'll grab that quest and we'll head up to the upper level and take a look at that. While we're doing that, I am going to talk about a couple of things before we check into that. You can see here, this UI shows up at the top of your screen every time you come into a class hall. you can see order resources. They are used to recruit troops, which are kind of like Warcraft 3 minions, in that you'll recruit some troops. They might be, ghouls. They might be the Knights of the Ebon Blade. I don't know specifically what the Death Knight ones are, but you'll be spoon-fed that as you go along. They'll kind of give you a little tutorial on how to do that. But you use them on your missions just like you would your named champions, if you will, that you use in Warlords of Draenor. You also have champions. They'll be named mobs or named champions. Some of them are going to be ones that you already know. Some of them will be lore characters for Death Knights, and then you'll use these troops as kind of backups. You'll use them because they'll give little bonuses to success chance on missions, depending on which ones you're using. Just make sure you're keeping an eye on that, when you're 110, because they have 3 uses, and once they're up, you make sure you get some more. Of course, we did say that we are going to have missions just like we do in Warlords of Draenor. I can't show you the UI because it's not available to us yet, but the UI will be just a little box in the middle of your screen, just like it is in Warlords. And they will give little bonuses such as artifact power, gold, and sometimes, I believe, order resources. You use order resources to get order resources, which is pretty cool. And also to progress in your class order hall campaign, which is very important at 110, both to the lore and to kind of just have some fun. So you'll have some missions that you need to send off with your champions. With those champions as well, eventually you will get bodyguard champions for your class through your class order hall. You'll see a little box on your UI where you can put your bodyguard in. Make sure you're bringing one with you at all times. It's nice to have a little bit of an extra pet. You did see with Frost, I did have a little bit of a problem keeping myself alive, which is a little unfortunate. I mean, it might just be me. Also, before you leave here, keep in mind you do need to reforge or runeforge your weapons again. And I don't know what the hell we're supposed to do. I'm going to assume Razor Ice and Fallen Crusader on these, but you can runeforge the Blades of the Fallen Prince once you have them. They don't come with it naturally, so make sure you're putting those on. I was talking, yeah, just make sure you're bringing a bodyguard with you at all times. While you're out in the open world, they'll help you do your quest while you're questing from 100 to 110, and also while you're at 110, they'll give you a nice little bonus to damage or whatever it is that particular character does. So that can be pretty helpful. So just keep an eye, make sure once you do have a bodyguard, you're bringing them with you. I also want to show you this because I forgot it in my Unholy video. Here is Quartermaster Ozorg. You may remember him from being in Acheris quite a few times, but he sells a set. It's called the Death Lord set. It looks horrendous. It's unbelievably ugly, so I'm showing it to you here. It's really bad. It looks absolutely terrible. You can transmog it, of course. If you want to pause the video to take a look at the set bonuses, you can. I'm not going to talk about them. They do range from item level 810 all the way up to item level 840, 840 being epic. You can see they do have their own requirements, going from 6 champions recruited to your order hall and honored with the Nightfallen, all the way up to earning 100,000 artifact power and being exalted with the Nightfallen. This set isn't for the hardcore player. By the way, you can upgrade these all the way to item level 840 each piece by buying these armor kits. They cost order resources. These are basically work the same way as the profession upgrades did in Warlords of Draenor. This set is a casual player set, or if you're someone that's going to be playing, a Death Knight and alt, and you only get on, maybe once a day for 10 minutes to do a world quest that gives 1,000 gold or something like that, to earn some extra gold, and you get a little bit of reputation here and there, and somewhere down the line you want to buy this set, you could do that to kind of gear yourself up, if you don't have a lot of time to gear. This set might be for you. And again, for a casual player, somebody that hops on once in a while, it's something to work towards. It's not a bad set, especially once you've upgraded it all the way to 840. But keep in mind, this set does exist in your class order hall. And the last thing with the order resources is research upgrades. There are 6 don't know what the hell that was. There are 6 tiers of upgrades for your order hall. I can't show you that UI either because you need to do a little bit of questing before it becomes available to you. But I can talk a little bit about it and try to explain a little bit of it to you. That particular research upgrades, the first tier takes 2 hours to research and will cost you, I believe, 50 of your resources. And you have the choice between a 20% increased success chance on your first mission of the day, so your order hall mission that you send off your champions on, or having the ability to get an upgrade on a piece of loot you get through questing. And that doesn't apply to you at level 110, so keep that in mind as well. It will only go from 100 to 110 as your questing. World quests, dailies, and stuff like that, repeatables, you will not get a chance at an upgrade. But it can be like you get a green and you have a chance for it to upgrade blue or upgrade to epic or something like that. So but that'll go through all the way to 110. You'll get kind of introduced to that at some point through like tutorials. There's a spider mount for anybody that was interested, the 2 million gold mount. You get introduced to that. But the ones at 110 get a little bit more important. There's one where you'll get one of your 3, I think they're called Broken Seals of Fate, which are your roll bonuses in a raid. One of your 3 per week you'll get free through your class order hall. But the 110 tier upgrades take quite a while for them to finish. The first one will start, it will be 7 days, the next one will be 10, then 12, and then the final one is 14 days. And the 14 days is the absolute most important one if you're somebody who's into raiding, because you'll be able to wear 2 of these. These are the legendary items available to the Frost Death Knight. As you can see, they are item level 895, all of them. They'll have a boatload of stats on them, a lot of raw stats, and they each come with their own equip bonus, which can range from damage to utility to defense. And I'll just give you an idea on, we'll do 3 of them really quick. This one, Howling Blast, deals 40% increased damage to enemies affected by Remorseless Winter. Here's one, after not taking damage for 5 seconds, you gain an Absorb Shield for 15% of your max health for 30 seconds, and this effect may occur once every 30 seconds. And finally, increases the duration of your anti-magic shell by 100%, and any damage it absorbs would heal you. So you can kind of get an idea of what those will do. Those are RNG world drops, and they can also be gotten, I believe, from caches that you get through doing a certain, kind of like Diablo 3. If you play Diablo 3, you know how the caches work. You do a certain amount of quests for a certain faction, maybe, or in Diablo 3's case, it would be in a certain act, but in this, you would do it for a certain faction, and then you'd go to the emissary, and you'd get your cache reward for until that resets. So you have a chance at getting them from those caches too. And they can also just randomly drop from any damn mob in the world, from what I understand. So it can be a little frustrating, but Blizzard has said they have a failsafe in order to make sure that you don't get screwed throughout the expansion. So keep that in mind as well. You're going to want to keep an eye on that and make sure you're doing your upgrades so that you're not missing out. Okay, we've talked about those. Let's go ahead and take a look at this UI here. This weapon is amazing. Do you see the souls of the damned dancing along its edge? Oh, how they scream for release. Yes. In their forms, I can see how the blade must be shaped. I've been working for many years to improve the forges. This weapon will be the perfect demonstration of the Soul Forge, their latest design. We can take your artifact to the forge and shape it to make use of the power it contains, provided you fed your weapon enough souls first. Let's give it a little try, eh? So, this is the Soul Forge. When we click on that, it'll bring up this UI. Can I drag that? Oh, it's a passive. That's why I didn't get that. Okay, so this is the Blades of the Fallen Prince UI. As you can see, that's why we didn't get an ability, because it's a passive called Crystalline Swords. Your melee attacks have a chance to create icy copies of Icebringer and Frost Reaper, which will then stab and pierce your foes. And that leads to Blades of Frost, a 1 rank passive increasing our attack speed by 12%. You can see that costs 100 artifact power, and we are given 100 artifact power just for the purposes of the video, or excuse me, of the tutorial that Blizzard has put us through. So there you go, we can click on that, putting a point in our first trait, and that unlocks all of our traits. As you can see, there are 3 golden portraited traits, and those are the most important. Those are the ones you're going to want to go for. Keep in mind, you can respec the weapon. It does cost artifact power, but if you're absolutely intent on having or needing something in particular out of these 3 golden portraited traits, you can respec. I don't recommend it because you're eventually going to get all of these anyway, but if you're, if your raid says you need to do something, in particular to be brought on the raids those weeks, you can actually respec your weapon. As you can see, we can go 2 directions from the trait we just purchased. You can see they cost 300 artifact power, and the cost may stay static or may increase per rank on these. I don't think Blizzard has totally decided on that yet, but I think they're leaning more towards for every point you put in, the rank will go, the purchase cost will go up. So this might be 300 for the first rank, 350, and then 400 or something along those lines. So keep that in mind. Also, I'm not going to read these out as if they're at max rank. I'm going to read them as they are. If you're interested in knowing the percentages, or the numbers that are going to go up, you can do the simple math as you're doing the video. And you're going to get a chance to go through all this anyway, but I'm just going to read them off to you. You get the idea. First, we have Blast Radius, a 3 rank passive, increasing damage dealt by Howling Blast by 10%. Nothing But the Boots, a 3 rank passive, increasing the critical strike damage done by Obliterate and Frost Sith by 6%. Here we have Frozen Core. This is a 1 rank passive. Your Pillar of Frost also increases your frost damage dealt by 10%. Here we have Chill of the Grave, another 1 rank passive, increasing the range of Frost Strike by 8 yards. Ice in Your Veins, a 3 rank passive. Death Strike heals you for 100% more while Icebound Fortitude is active. Here we have Frozen Skin, a 3 rank passive, increasing your armor by 3%. This leads to Cold as Ice, a 3 rank passive, increasing all frost damage you deal by 1%. Mirror Ball, a 1 rank passive, Anti-Magic Shell, also removes all harmful magical effects when activated. Here we have Bad to the Bone, increasing the damage of your Razor Ice Runeforge by 15%. Ambidexterity, a 3 rank passive, increasing offhand weapon damage dealt by Frost Strike and Obliterate by 10%. Here's our first major trait. This is Hypothermia, a 1 rank passive. Each time Frost Fever deals damage, it has a chance to erupt, dealing 16,828 frost damage to the target. Here we have Overpowered, a 3 rank passive. Obliterate has a 10% chance to generate 3 additional runic power. Dead of Winter, a 3 rank passive, increasing damage dealt by Remorseless Winter by 5%. Here we have, we'll actually talk about that one last. Here we have Frozen Soul. This is a 1 rank passive. This is another one of our major traits. When Remorseless Winter ends, Icebringer and Frost Reaper release a burst of 2,245 frost damage, increased by 100% for each additional enemy you hit during Remorseless Winter. And finally, we have Syndragosa's Fury. This is a 1 rank ability that you will get. This particular item comes with a passive, and then your ability, your use ability, is one that you'll actually have to work your way down towards, and that's this one. It's an instant cast with a 5-minute cooldown. This will summon Syndragosa, who breathes frost on all enemies within 40 yards in front of you, dealing 112,188 frost damage and slowing their movement speed by 50% for 10 seconds. So how cool is that? We already have this baseline ability, but then we can work our way down to Syndragosa's Fury. That's pretty freaking cool. That would make me play. That might make me play Frost at some point. I wasn't too thrilled with it when I did my little, playthrough there, but wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, so we've taken a look at all of our traits. Up here you can see there are 3 slots available. One has a lock on it. These are our relic slots. This third one is unavailable to you until you finish your Death Knight Order Hall campaign, which we talked a little bit about. They're actual quests that you'll have to go on yourself, and they're also missions that you'll have to send out. Eventually, you'll be into 110 by the time you finish this. It can take a little bit of a while. There are some special things you have to do. I'm not going to ruin any of it for you, but this will be locked for a while. But these 2 are available to us right now, and you will get something to put in these slots through quests and dungeons. And they add passive item levels to the items themselves. So obviously we're at 710 now. These might add 15 apiece or something like that. And they will also add passive ranks. So let's say, for instance, we have 3 of 3 in Blast Radius, and then we have an artifact that adds 2 ranks to Blast Radius. We can have 5 points now in Blast Radius. Would give us an extra 50% damage on Howling Blast. So keep that in mind. Also, once you have put a relic in these slots, they cannot be taken back out. So when you go to put something over top, whatever's inside is destroyed. It's not that big of a deal when you're leveling from 100 to 110 because, you know, for purposes of leveling, there's never going to be like a real big choice where you go, oh my god, if I get rid of this, I might never get it again. But at 110, keep in mind, when you're going to put something in over this, if you're just doing it to check out, you know, is an extra 2 ranks on this better than 2 ranks on this, you might want to spreadsheet that or something, or look it up on a website, because otherwise you're gonna, you know, destroy what you have in here. You might actually take a DPS hit or something like that. So just keep those things in mind for your relics. You can see we have a 1 here in the top right corner, or top right corner, holy shit, I'm tired, pardon me, in the top left corner, and that gives us a stamina bonus of 0.75% for every trait purchased up to 34 traits. Of course we have 1 here, so we do have 0.75% extra stamina, and again, this will stack up as we're putting points all the way through. Get a bunch of extra stamina to use out in the world in our raids and dungeons and stuff like that. Another thing I want to point out, healers and tanks will also get passive damage. So you'll get, I think it's 1% for healers and tanks. You get 1% increased damage for all the ranks that you put in. Okay, we've taken a look at that UI. Before we talk to him and progress the quest, if you shift right click on the Blades of the Fallen Prince, whether they're in your inventory or in the character pane, you can bring up that UI and put your relics in. So if you're in the open world, you know, you just get your first relic from a quest or something, you can pop that sucker in. But you can't put artifact power in anywhere but here at the Soul Forge in Acheris. So I don't recommend coming here every single time while you're questing. Like when you're leveling from 100 to 110, don't bother coming here every time you barely get enough points to put something in. Wait till you're done with a zone and it sends you back here, you know, because you'll come here all the damn time while you're leveling. You know, wait for that. The only time I would recommend coming back while you're leveling is if you just now got enough to put a point into like one of these super traits, I'm going to call them. So if you have enough to put a point into a super trait, you know, while you're leveling, then it's okay. If you're at 110, yeah, come here when you get enough points, because the cost is greatly increased after you hit 110. But, you know, don't just come back here while you're leveling to put 1 point into something. Oh yes, that will do nicely. Return after you've fed your blade another feast of souls, and we will make it the most powerful weapon that's ever existed. Your weapon is stronger than ever, but it will need many more souls in order to reach its true potential. Suxi has been collecting reports from the scouts. She will direct you to our enemies, and their screaming souls will empower your weapon further. Oop. We're not going to type out anything. Okay, so we can hop on our mount. And we'll head over to the teleporter and head back down to Suxi the Banshee, and we'll check out one more neat little thing that we have available to us. Excuse me, mate. Here's Suxi.
We press on.
Deathlord, I prepared a brief report on all we've discovered about this new land. You should find it quite interesting.
We are done here.
Have you seen the fog that surrounds us? The chill winds of Acheris have provided us with a perfect concealment from the prying eyes of the Legion. Under cover of this fog, we've been able to send out scouting teams who put together a fairly comprehensive map of the Broken Isles. Choose where we shall begin our assault. You, of course, shall have the honor of spearheading our efforts, but the rest of the Ebon Blade will follow your lead.
There's work to be done.
You can see scouting map here on the table in the middle. If you click on that, it brings up this UI. So we have 4 zones that we can choose from. Initially, this here in the middle is Suramar. It's a 110 only zone, and don't worry about any of this over here. So these zones are the ones you have to pick from. To start, it doesn't matter which one you pick, it doesn't matter where you start and where you finish. The zones all level with you, so you know, as soon as you hit 101, every mob in these zones is 101 as well, etc., etc., all the way through to 110. At 110 they get a little bit harder. Like you see a significant increase in well, not super significant, but you get the idea. You'll see it. You'll see a good difference in difficulty level for the mobs. But yeah, while you're leveling, it's not a big deal. Choose any zone you want. I'm just going to pick Stormheim to move the video along a bit. Also, if you're questing with someone, like a guildie or a friend, and you hit 101 and they're still at 100, as long as you're in the same phase in the zone, you don't have to worry about being a different level. It doesn't affect anything. It just affects what level you see the mobs at, but the mobs pretty much kind of have a static difficulty, so it doesn't matter if you're 102 and they're 101. As long as you're in the same phase, you can quest with your friends. Okay. And you'll... Oh, clicked on it again. You'll be brought back here several times to pick the new zones that you go to after. A fine choice, Death Lord.
We will have our
Greatest
revenge.
heroes on Azeroth have gathered to face the Burning Legion. But heroes alone will not save this world. Salvation will come at a price the living cannot pay. The time of the Four Horsemen has come, and you will bring about their return. Nazgrim, the fallen general of the Horde, shall be the firstborn. Go now and see that it is done.
So, a little bit of spoiler there. The voice of the Lich King has spoken, Death Lord, and the Knights of the Ebon Blade will obey your command. The Four Horsemen were no ordinary Death Knights. They were born of pure, unholy power gifted from the Lich King to Kel'Thuzad. This unholy power to raise the dead has now been passed to you, Death Lord. I am sure you will wield it with great conviction. The Four Horsemen will be powerful allies against the Burning Legion, and Nazgrim is a worthy choice as his firstborn. So you would speak with Thessarian in Durotar.
I have my reservations, but I will obey your will, Death Lord. The Horde will be outraged, but Nazgrim will make a powerful Death Knight.
So, hope you're not disappointed, guys, but I will not be going to do that. That's a little bit of too spoilery. I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to let you do that by yourself. We were only kind of doing our quest line to check out our weapons and stuff like that. And checking out our class hall a bit. But you'll be able to do that on your own. You'll be set forth to get the Four Horsemen back together. I'm not going to ruin... Obviously, you know from hearing that Nazgrim is one of them. And also, there are going to be a few more major lore characters, but I'm not going to name any of them. Spoiler alert. Anyway, let's take a look at our talents for Frost in the 56 tier. We have Shattering Strikes. This is a passive. If there are 5 stacks of Razor Ice on the target, Frost Strike will consume them and deal 40% additional damage. We have Icy Talons. A passive. Frost Strike also increases your melee attack speed by 10% for 6 seconds, and this can stack 3 times. We have Murderous Efficiency. A passive. Consumes the Killing Machine effect. Consuming the Killing Machine effect has a 50% chance to cause you to gain 1 rune. In the 57 tier, we have Freezing Fog, a passive where Howling Blast and Frost Fever deal 25% increased damage. Frozen Pulse, a passive, while you have no full runes, your auto attacks radiate intense cold, inflicting 4,040 frost damage on all nearby enemies. And Horn of Winter, an instant cast, 30-second cooldown, blowing the Horn of Winter, gaining 2 runes and generating 10 runic power. In the 58 tier, we have Ice Cap, a passive where your Frost Strike, Frost Sith, and Obliterate. Critical strikes reduce the remaining cooldown on Pillar of Frost by 1 second. We have Hungering Rune Weapon, which would replace Empower Rune Weapon. This is an instant cast, 3-minute cooldown. Empower your rune weapon, gaining 1 rune and 5 runic power instantly and every 1.5 seconds for 12 seconds. And finally, Avalanche, a passive. While Pillar of Frost is active, your melee crits cause jagged icicles to fall on your nearby enemies, dealing 2,805 frost damage. In the 60 tier, we have Abomination's Might. Passive. Obliterate critical strikes have a chance to drive lesser enemies to the ground, stunning them for 2 seconds. Players would be dazed for 5 seconds instead. We have Blinding Sheet. This is an instant cast with a 1-minute cooldown. Targets in a cone in front of you are blinded, causing them to wander disoriented for 4 seconds. Damage may cancel the effect. We're actually going to pick that just so we can see what it looks like. We have Winter is Coming, another passive. Enemies struck 5 times by Remorseless Winter while your Pillar of Frost is active are stunned for 4 seconds. In the 75 tier, we have Volatile Shielding. This passive means your anti-magic shell turns your enemies' pathetic magic damage against them, absorbing 35% more damage but generating no runic power. When it expires, 25% of all damage absorbed is dealt as arcane damage divided among nearby enemies. We have Permafrost, another passive. When you deal damage with auto attacks, you gain an absorb shield equal to 30% of the damage dealt. Probably should have had that on. And then we have White Walker, a passive where you take 20% reduced damage while Wraith Walk is active. When you enter or leave Wraith Walk, all nearby enemies are slowed by 50% for 3 seconds. In the 90 tier, we have Frost Sith. This is a 1 rune cost instant cast, a sweeping attack that strikes all enemies in front of you for 7,414 frost damage. This attack benefits from Killing Machine, and critical strikes with Frost Sith deal 4 times normal damage. We have Runic Attunement. This is a passive where auto attacks generate 1 runic power. And Gathering Storm. This passive means each rune spent during Remorseless Winter increases its damage by 10% and extends its duration by 0.5 seconds. In the 100 tier, we have Obliteration. This is an instant cast 1.5 minute cooldown for the next 8 seconds. Every Frost Strike hit trick. Oh, let me start again. Sorry, my eyes unfocused. For the next 8 seconds, every Frost Strike hit triggers Killing Machine, and Obliterate costs 1 less rune. And we have Breath of Sindragosa. This costs 13 runic power per second, is on a 2-minute cooldown, but is an instant cast. Continuously deal 8,415 Shadow Frost damage every 1 second. 2 enemies in a cone in front of you, dealing reduced damage to secondary targets. You will continue breathing until your runic power is exhausted or you cancel the effect. And finally, Glacial Advance. This is 1 rune cost, instant cast, 12.1 second cooldown. Summons glacial spikes from the ground that advance forward, each dealing 21,035 frost damage to enemies near the eruption point. You may have seen this while I was going through the thing. This is really awful animation. So I'm actually going to get rid of that and put Breath of Sindragosa on our bar so we can take a look, see if they've changed the animation on that. You're not really going to be impressed by Glacial Advance's animation. And Obliterate doesn't really have one, so or one that matters, so no big deal. Okay, we've taken a look at that. This guy's, I don't know where that guy is, but his A-Bomb is just beating the shit out of that. So we'll take a look at some of our baseline abilities as well. Of course, Deathgate and Runeforge returns, as well as Path of Frost. Animation hasn't really changed on that. Raise Ally, which is our battle res, bringing you back to life with 60% health and 20% mana. You can use this on an ally. Of course, Anti-Magic Shell, we talked about. Instant cast 1-minute cooldown. This will last for 5 seconds and absorb 100,800 magic damage and prevents application of harmful magical effects. The damage absorbed will generate runic power. Animation's changed a little bit. Pretty cool. Not bad. Icebound Fortitude has returned, instant cast 3-minute cooldown. Freeze, your blood freezes, granting immunity to stun effects and reducing all damage you take by 20% for 8 seconds. Animation's changed a little bit for that, a little bit more prominent to be able to tell that that's on. Horn of Winter, that's what that looks like. I mean, it's not baseline anymore because we don't have buffs per se, so that's that talent. Mind Freeze, instant cast 15-second cooldown. This is your interrupt ability. A Hungering Rune Weapon we talked about. Let's take a look at that animation. You can see it just gives a little animation around us. Death Grip, instant cast 25-second cooldown. This just pulls a target to you. Animation hasn't changed for that. I'm not willing to pull a tank dummy because they can kill you. Control Undead. This is a 1 rune cost, 1.21 second cast, and dominates the target undead creature up to level 101, forcing it to do your bidding for 5 minutes. Of course, that's 101 just because we're level 100 at the moment, so that'll increase with you. Dark Command, instant cast, 8-second cooldown. This is your taunt. Chains of Ice, 1 rune cost, instant cast, reducing movement speed by 70% for 8 seconds on the target. Animation is still the same. Wraithwalk is new. Channeled ability, 1 minute cooldown. Sidestep into the Shadowlands, breaking root effects and increasing your movement speed by 70% for 3 seconds. During this time, all movement impairing effects are suppressed, but any action will cancel the effect. So that's what that looks like. Ooh. And I walked too damn close. God damn it. Okay, remember when I said don't get near the tanking dummy? I got near the tanking dummy. For you Blood Death Knights out there, there are tanking dummies now, so you can test your mitigation and shit like that. But if you get too close, they punch you in the head, and they can kill you. So, that was super unfortunate. Never happened. I'm gonna cut that. So we looked at that. Here we have Blinding Sleet. This is that ability we said we were going to take a look at. Let's see. It kind of looks like a shitty version of Cone of Cold, to be honest with you. Not too impressed. So that's unfortunate. Howling Blast is kind of a baseline ability for us now. It's a 1 rune cost, blasting the target with Frigid Wind, dealing 2,805 frost damage to that foe and 2,384 frost damage to all other nearby enemies within 10 yards, infecting them with Frost Fever. And Frost Fever is a disease that deals 24,680 frost damage over 24 seconds and has a chance to grant the Death Knight 5 runic power each time it deals damage. So let's take a look at Howling Blast. Boom. Not really that much of an animation. It's alright. Frost Strike is 25 runic power, cost, instant cast, and will deal a total of 29,502 frost damage. So let's look at that animation. Kind of just a spin strike. Yeah, nothing too special on that animation. Remorseless Winter is a 1 rune cost, instant cast, 20-second cooldown, draining the warmth of life from all nearby enemies, dealing 15,750 frost damage over 8 seconds, and reducing their movement speed by 50%. This is basically Frost's Death and Decay now. That's the animation. I think they changed this a little bit from what it is on live. As you can see, there's our passive at work. Our weapon showed up next to us there for a second. We have Obliterate. This costs 2 runes, is an instant cast, and is a brutal attack with both weapons. It deals a total of 25,789 physical damage. Let's take a look at that. I like the animation for Obliterate. Side strike. Kind of sweeps in. Pretty cool. We have Frost Sith, which we talked about. This is our cleave. There you go. You can see that and kind of get a Sith out of nowhere. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but the hell with it, right? So that's how that works. Pillar of Frost is an instant cast with a 1 minute cooldown. This is the power of Frost increases your strength by 20% and grants immunity to external movement effects such as knockbacks and will last 20 seconds. That is what that looks like. Kind of a minor animation. Kind of looks like Icebound, a little bit of a shittier Icebound Fortitude, but that's what that looks like. That's Pillar of Frost. We'll look at Sindragosa. Let's see. Nothing special. It really hasn't changed. That's unfortunate. You can see this. Watch this tanking dummy follow me. He's just waiting for me to get close enough so he can punch me in the head. I hate it. I hate him so much. And finally, we have Death Strike, which costs 45 runic power. It's an instant cast that deals a total of 20,570 physical damage and heals you for 20% of all damage taken in the last 5 seconds, and has a minimum of 10% of your maximum health in healing. So that's the animation. Kind of jump up in the air now. Let's get some more. We can take a better look. Boom. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And we looked at all the other abilities. Yes, we did. Stop following me. God darn. And you can see the little swords that will follow you. The little mimics of your sword. So guys, I do want to thank you for joining me on this journey. to check out the Frost Death Knight here today. I hope you did enjoy the video. I know I got a little bit better insight into what this class is going, or what this spec rather is going to feel like. I'm not too thrilled with it, but like I said, I'm not I've never been particularly fond of Frost. I've been more of an Unholy player since the Death Knight came out, but you may really enjoy it. I think it has potential. I think it just needs a little bit of tweaking maybe. And in the hands of a much better player, I could see this definitely being an effective spec. But if you did enjoy the video, please leave me a like. I do appreciate all the likes that I get. If you do have a question or a comment, please feel free to leave that below too. I do love reading the comments, and I do try and respond to every single one as fast as possible. If you have any questions, I'll either figure out the answer by coming on this character, or I'll ask someone in one of the guilds of my higher level characters what their opinion is, or what their numbers look like at max level, if that's what I need to do to answer your question properly. Guys and gals, if there are any of you watching, you have yourselves a wonderful day and a wonderful evening, depending on where you are in the world, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Bye bye now.